Hi, it's Carl and Carol here, and we are recording our video for assignment number 2 for the Master's Bootcamp. And we're going to talk about our journey of entrepreneurial activities that have led us up to the point where we are now. And it started back in high school, and Carl, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, I started my entrepreneurial journey in high school. I was a member of DECA, the Distributive Education Clubs of America. I wrote two business plans my senior year, one for a popcorn shop and one for a restaurant. And actually ended up going to state and national competitions with those, won some awards, and just had a strong entrepreneurial itch. And so for me, that was the early birth of my entrepreneurial journey.
And from there, Carl was, after that, after high school and after a couple years of marriage, Carl decided to go into law enforcement. And through that, found that a lot of the equipment that they were required to have and we had to purchase on our own was just overpriced and there was a lot of markup. So he decided that it was time to open up a police supply business. So he did that, sold everything from handcuffs up to vests to weapons, pretty much everything that you would need for a police supply business. And then when some of the laws changed and it became a little bit more difficult to have a federal firearms license, we closed that business down. And the next thing we got into was computers.
Yeah, this was early in the internet era. This would have been the mid 90s, 95, 96, 97. And the first thing that I began to play with was a corporate headhunting business where I was paid to go out and find candidates for job postings. And so I was looking for systems administrators and network administrators and folks like that, and getting interviews set up for them, and of course would make a commission on those sales. And then I went from there into actually doing a mobile tech support business where I would come to a client's office and do things like install their Windows or clean viruses off the computer or install new software, those kinds of things. But at the same time, Carol took her first jump into the entrepreneurial realm as well.
And I began keeping books, keeping the accounting for a small janitorial company in Dodge City, Kansas, and did all of his tax filings and just made sure all of his accounts were current so that when he took it to his accountant, he could easily have his taxes done. So that was my jump into it. And then a few years later, Carl was working as a branch manager for a bank, and also we took on our first church. And that involved a move from one small town to another, and so we began looking at what position he could take since we needed to transfer and we wanted to stay within the same company. And so he went into the financial services area in the bank that he worked for and really found some good success with that, except we discovered that in the midst of working for someone else, when you're on commission, the employer takes a lot bigger chunk of the commission than they give you. And so we began to think about different things that we could do, and the thing that really propelled us into looking at what we were doing and where we wanted to go, in 2001, the town that we lived in at the time in central Kansas was hit by an F4 tornado, and our house was one of many that was very heavily damaged. And when you go through something like that, it really causes you to take a step back and look at what you're doing and just really become introspective. And so in the process of doing that and really looking at our lives, we decided that it was time for us to open up our own investment firm. And so we found a firm that we were a good fit for, had our own office, and I worked with Carl. I was his assistant, and he did all of the financial planning and management for all of our clients. And one thing that had become really important to us was that I was home with the kids and that we weren't sending our kids to a babysitter. That's just a value that we developed over the years. And so the kids went with us. We had an 11-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a newborn when we did this. And the kids went with us to the office. I had very flexible hours so that I was able to get them up and around in the mornings, and then we usually went home in time for nap time. Or if we didn't make it home, we had a little room that the two little ones took naps in. And so we really created that family business. They knew that they were a part of it as well. And from there, we took a break. Well, we kind of scaled back our office a little bit.
Yeah, not really. It took a different turn.
Yeah.
So we did scale back our financial advisory practice. Our ministry had changed. But the next thing we got into is I wrote 2 books and began to market those on Amazon. Now, the bad thing is, out of 600 copies of both of those books, I gave away all but 6 and sold those 6 on Amazon. But then that got me looking in some other areas, including putting together an Amazon store. And so entered into that online realm again. Also, during that time, developed a assessment process for church planters with the regional denomination we were with, and so developed a business doing that, assessing church planters for a set fee, and continuing to toy around with the internet as well. With Amazon stores, and never found any success with the Amazon stores really. Just made a few sales here and there, and from there we moved to Texas to take on a pastorate, and kind of left the entrepreneurial side behind for the most part, other than managing a few clients, with our financial advisory practice. But then in 2008, everything radically changed. The church I was trying to turn around, I couldn't get turned around. And we decided to not only be entrepreneurs in a business sense, but in a ministry sense. And started a church from scratch, started a ministry from scratch, and needed a way to, hopefully form a living for ourselves and fund that ministry. And so that led us to take a hard look at network marketing. And that's something we never had really wanted to consider. We had been approached with Amway 20 years earlier, and nothing against Amway, it just simply was the way we were approached. We just had no desire to do that. But the thing I realized from my ministry, the internet had opened a lot of doors for me in the ministry. I'd made a lot of networking relationships because of the internet, and I began to realize that if I could combine network marketing or a leveraged type business model with the internet, there was a real key to creating some success there. And so that led me personally into a journey of learning the internet. And so I tried a lot of things that didn't work right up front, wasted a lot of time on traffic exchanges and things that were just pointless. But it was all part of the learning curve, learning that branding is what really makes the difference, that you can't just take a website that looks like everybody else's and hope to make money. You've got to distinguish yourself. You've got to brand yourself. And it's funny, I knew all of this offline with my financial advisory business, but I had to make that same leap online. And so, slowly began to put together a strategy. The backbone of that strategy became blogging and videos and articles. So written content, video content. Began to see commissions come in, began to realize that not all pay plans are the same. So I started off with very much traditional network marketing retail type business plans where you bought the product at one price and sold it for another, and the difference was yours, and you built a team doing the same thing. And then I began to learn that there were some better leveraged compensation plans, and so then I began to learn about affiliate marketing, and then I began to learn about creating your own products, and so I created some of my own products with limited success, but the experience was vital. Then I began to understand how to leverage out even further, doing things like outsourcing, and then along came the 100% commission idea. And I had the privilege of being in the early phases of launching the 100% commission program that we're a part of now. So that's been a part of my journey up till today, and in fact that's what I've been doing really from late 2009 until current. is just scaling out that business. So today it looks pretty similar, just much larger, many more pieces, but it's still the same thing, content based. I outsource instead of doing most of the writing myself. I outsource most of my search engine optimization. I've added paid advertising into the mix. I've built my own, products again. Getting ready to launch my own affiliate network on one of those products. So getting more advanced in my skill sets. Carol, anything you want to bring in?
I just want to encourage anyone that's watching. We are two totally different people. I am I used to be a comfort. I like security. I like comfort. And Carl has always been the more adventurous one of the two of us. But I just want to encourage anyone who is out there that it doesn't matter what your personality type is. You can become whoever you need to be. If you have a dream of being an entrepreneur and you have a dream of owning your own time and being free in whatever the definition of freedom is for you, that you can do this. I'm finding out that I can do a lot of things that I never dreamed I could do. And so I just want you to be encouraged that even if you think you're a quiet person or you don't have a lot to say, you really do. And you can find your niche in this. Because believe me, our personalities are two totally different personalities, but we've taken it and this partnership that we have and have put it together, and it works.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I want to add, Carol has just joined me in our business full time. She resigned her job here about a month ago. She's actually getting ready to, release some of the other, outside things she's been doing to focus more on the business. So, that's been a part of our journey. But I think the thing I want to key you in is I just named an awful lot of businesses that we've tried over the years. And the truth is, almost every single one of them failed. Didn't even make any money off of most of them. The only real success we've ever found was our financial advisory practice, which created a six-figure income for us, and that was short-lived because our ministry changed, and God said it's time to give it up. You need to focus on your ministry. And our other successes come with internet marketing and network marketing, and we're still not to where we want to be with that. We're shooting for bigger numbers, but let me assure you, we have tried more things that have failed than those things that have succeeded. You can't be afraid of failure, because failure really isn't a failure. It's not a negative. It's a building block for your greatest successes. If I hadn't wasted time on a traffic exchange, I would have never learned about branding. I would have never learned about repetition. I never would have learned about mindset and copywriting and all of those types of things, and that video out converts text, and these are all lessons you learn along the way, even with the things that flop. So don't be afraid to give something a try, because if it doesn't work, great, go try something else. Even in the network marketing side of things, we found some businesses that are doing very well for us now, but we've tried, half a dozen others, 8 or 9, 10, that were just absolute duds. Some went out of business, some were just a waste of time and money, and that's the real story. So our time's running short on the video, but that's our journey, point A to point B. The journey is still going on. We're striving for greater things. We want you to do that as well. If you'd like to connect with us, the link to our Facebook fan page is below this video. We would love to interact with you and get to know more about you.